Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video, I want to share with you where exactly I recommend you spending your energy from the early levels of 30 to 35. Normally, we do this every round number like 30, 40 Interknot level, but I think it's very important for us to get on the right track so we have efficiency heading in to 40 because as you know, the middle game suddenly spikes high in terms of resources costs. And the reason why the resources spike is actually from Shi defense onwards. Once you hit around like Interknot level 30 and 31, you might start pushing deeper in, and that's when you actually realize two teams are needed for Shi defense. So our tactics here actually stem from the game requirements for having two teams. So my recommendation, ideally of course, like in the ideal perfect world when you are battle pass buyer, you are pay to win, you are whale, whatever, you have 6 characters all at 40, and you ideally want their W engines all at 40, you want ideally all their skills at 7 also, but realistically speaking, most of us are free-to-play players, small spenders, whatever it is, and you might not have everyone and the resources to level everyone. So in that case, what is the resource priority order, which is the important and critical part of this video? My recommendation for most of you, and we will start off chronologically in terms of from start to finish, in terms of how you want to build your characters as you're progressing day by day. First things first, your attack characters are number 1. Regardless of what is your gear requirement, I would say first priority, highest priority, make sure you level your attack characters. Alan Joe, whether it's Nekomata, whether it's Soldier 11, whether it's Anton, Corin, Billy, whatever not. Make sure they are level 40 out of 40. Make sure their W engine is 40 out of 40. These are like super important. And also their skill, try to get them everything at 7 because they are going to be your on-field DPS. Don't forget they also have core skill enhancement, especially if you are a S rank DPS. They tend to have crit in their passive substats here. So you want to get this up as well so you can get not only the bonuses from their passive but also some additional stats that you can get along the way. So ABC 77777 as much as you can for your main DPS. Alan is the similar likes, you want to get it up ABC, as well as the gear here, you want to take it up to 40. So that is your first priority. Once you have your main DPS up at 40 out of 40, you will start to feel that the game is much more easier, and hopefully you have been following our previous guides already and you have pre-farmed a lot of this. But not to worry, I try to make these videos assuming that you guys are needing help in this bracket as well. So first priority over, tier 1. Tier 2, I will recommend you level your stun characters. Characters like Lycan, characters like Anbi Demara, and characters like Collider. These characters will take the second tier of the requirements. Why stun instead of like other characters is because they take up a lot of field time. So stun characters are probably actually the ones that have the highest requirement in the game for stats, because they not only take a lot of damage because they are active, you play them when the enemy is not stunned or dazed, so they actually have a chance of taking quite a bit of damage. But overall, they are second priority because they don't do as much that DPS. You can actually get by with lesser investment. So similarly, 40 out of 40, then you get their W engines up. As for the skill, you can focus on what is important first for that particular unit. For example, you can see my Anbi Demara. I have her at some basic attack. I focus on the skill. I focus on assist. Try to get your best everything up, but if you can't, just focus on the things that you use the most in. For example, I tend to use skill a lot, basic attack a lot for the stun characters on field, just to increase the DPS output that they do because they're already taking up so much field time. And again, similarly, get their ABC up, the core skill enhancement, because you boost their days multipliers, you boost their damage, and you also give them a bit more impact, which helps improve their overall efficiency of stunning. Now, where I think gearing comes into hand, and a lot of people are worried about gear requirements, you will get some of these free stun gear as you go along. You just complete certain ones. For your stun character, I actually do recommend you consider investing in a bit of HP stat. You can see my Lycan here. I have it at a level 9 out of 12, even though my offensive pieces are only level 8. The reason for this is your stun characters take a lot of damage, especially at the much higher difficulties in Shi Defense 10 and beyond. That's why we recommend a bit of HP investment. So you can use the free rewards that you get. You don't have to farm this. These are all free. So you consider leveling up the HP one as well. If you are wondering what is the best way to farm, how did I complete so many sets all at once, there is an efficient way of doing things compared to just blindly farming and not farming at all, because you get a best of both worlds. Check out the video that we have on the channel where I talk about early game disk drive farming, where you use very little resources to get tons of value out of it. Probably like 1 or 2 runs and you are able to get a lot of value and push very deeper compared to other people that don't make use of the bonuses that you get. So that is the tier 2 requirements. So tier 1 attack, tier 2 stun, and how I will allocate resources. Tier 3 is going to be your anomaly characters, which is specifically Grace as well as Piper. These two are the characters that I will consider as tier 3 because they also do decent amount of damage and they do take up some fill time. For example, Piper does take up a bit of fill time when she's doing her spinny things. What I will focus on, again, 40 out of 40, W engine also 40 out of 40, and skills, I will focus on the back portion, which is your special attack, chain attack if you need to, assist is probably the more important one, ABC again very important because they do buff like anomaly mastery and whatnot. That's how I actually allocate them. More importantly, anomaly characters actually benefit more from the correct equipment, disk drive, as well as the correct W engine. So if you haven't seen our B rank W engine, I have a recommendation for you and even like alternatives on the B rank W engine guide for anomaly based characters. If maybe you're playing Piper or Grace, I think it's worth considering for you. Lowest priority out of all of them, not because it's like the lowest tier, like they are very bad characters, but because they do a lot from the abilities of their skills and the equipment sets and stuff like that, rather than just damage. So these tier 4 will be characters like Nicole, character like Rina, and characters Sokaku, Ben. These characters don't need a ton of investment to get maximum value. In fact, Nicole is probably one of the most affordable characters to build because her value comes from crowd control in her ball, the corruption placements, the team buffs that she provides, which really don't require a lot of investment. But if you are towards the end, you have excess resources, you can level her up to 40 out of 40 or stop at 35 out of 40, because once you hit 35, you can start leveling all your skills, which is probably the more important part. In my opinion, out of all of them, the most important things will be the core skill enhancements, because this gives you a lot of, for example, Nicole has defense shred, has energy regen for herself in the A and C nodes here, which I'll recommend you build, and focus on the special attack. This is where the value usually comes in for most of them, Nicole especially, and I do put in assist because assist is usually off field, they come in for a brief moment of time, so my focus is on assist as well as special attack for my support characters, and similarly for the rest of them, which we will do build guides on the channel already. So that was a bit of a mouthful in terms of the allocation plan for any of you small spenders, middle spenders, whales, whatever not that you have. That would be my recommendation for your 6 characters that you have. So thereafter, what is the things that actually change in 35? The main difference at 35 is actually going to be your Batik Needle shop. This is the place that you come to farm your gear. Oops, actually talking to Hedy here. But your music store actually changes once you reach 35 Interknot level. Automatically you have a mini quest that takes like 2 minutes to talk through, where intermediate tuning comes about. So beginner tuning, you use these blue tunings, which hopefully you have done as we recommended on our guides as well, because sometimes you get purple, you dismantle purple, you get this resources which you can have a chance of getting gold tier, for example. So when you're doing this gold tier farming, you can actually do this thing called partitioning your drive tuning. Notice when you just like tune 10, it costs 50, but when you partition and you select one, it's like you double the cost that it costs. But the benefit of this is you can snipe exactly the piece that you're looking for. For example, let's say I'm like really looking for a crit rate, crit damage piece. I can actually just like select one over here. Similarly, for once you tier up, you can actually like tune this one over here as well. So I can just specifically snipe for something that I'm looking for, rather than like going all out and just completing all 6 of them. For the early part of it, you probably will be going for everything, so you can just get generic sets, something good, and complete the main piece. But once you are looking for crit rate and crit damage, which is what I will recommend, which I'll talk about in a little bit as well. That's when you actually want to snipe pieces. The cost is doubled, but it becomes very, very efficient too. At the same time, whatever is left is the same thing. You can select whatever things you get, and you can start to get 5-star pieces. This is your S rank gear, which is pretty much end game content already. So you definitely want to start tuning, especially since this only costs red. Your final stage will use the gold ones, which is a different material altogether. So that's not the only thing that changes. A lot of things that change. You also can, your routine change up, cleanup starts to change in terms of them having the ability to start dropping S tier relics or disk drives. I don't think it's a good time to farm at 35 unless you are a whale, you're pushing for endgame content, but it is what it is. For 35 to 40, we will have another guide and we want to see what's the next tier reward before we make that one. But hopefully this very quick guide helps you guys set your path of being very efficient and what you should work towards once you hit 35 and beyond. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe for more of such future content. I'll be making many guides on the channel. We even have build guides, team comm guides, other efficiency guides on the channel, and good tips that you might find useful. As and when I know it, I'll share it. And thank you guys again so much for watching, and see you in the next video.